Hey, this is AJ, founder of Linkio. Yeah, so I've been doing a lot of experimenting lately with cold email and looking at what people talk about, and everyone is kind of saying the same thing these days. They say you need to personalize, you need to be ultra targeted, you need to go through that LinkedIn sales navigator, find the right job title, and follow the people on social media and say something specific about their life, and then see if there's some kind of yes or no. And if you do this 100 times with 100 different people, then maybe you'll get 15 people to respond. And if you don't do this, the best you can do is expect a 1% response rate. Well, I want to get into what my exact outreach strategy is for getting these high response rates, 15% on the low side. Regularly get 20%. That's 1 in 5 emails I send get a reply without any personalization, without any sales navigatoring, without any website by website prospecting. I just show you how to do it really fast, and it involves a little bit of strategy and a mix of tools that I've created. And I'll just start breaking it down. So I'm going to talk about why personalization works, but why it sucks, why the alternative spray and pray also fails, what to do instead, a few examples, and then how to automate the whole thing. I will admit, nothing beats proper personalization. If somebody hand emails me something super personalized, I'm going to respond to it. But to personalize something like that, it probably takes 15, 20 minutes of work per person. You can only do that a handful of times before you want to pull your hair out, or you need to outsource it, and it's very expensive. And it's just a lot of work. And, sometimes it's the right thing to do if you're going after C-suites, if you're going after certain executives, if you're going after certain influencers. This is the only way. However, there's millions of contacts out there that do not require this level of high-touch outreach. Okay? And that doesn't mean I'm saying go for spray and pray and just blast everyone's info inbox and blast them your pitch and ask them if they're interested. That's not what I'm saying either. Like, maybe that worked 5, 6, 7 years ago when outreach automation tools first came out, but now open your inbox, everybody's pitching you something. And big companies, they have these SDRs, and these SDRs, they're usually not sending highly personalized emails either. And they're happy with a tiny success rate because they have the money to have like 20 SDRs. So if they have 20 SDRs with a 1% success rate, that still means they're getting some kind of response to funnel into their BDRs. And if that's what you can do, fantastic. If you don't want to do any of that, if you don't want to hire a team, if you want to do, your sales outreach or marketing outreach or whatever outreach by yourself or with a tiny, tiny team, this is what I'm going to get into. So instead of spraying, I'm going to teach you how to spray, but intelligently with better targeting. And instead of praying for a response, I'm going to show you how to entice a response. So let me start with starting from the top. Like, when you're sending an outreach, I know you have some kind of business goal, forget about it. Because it doesn't matter, your offer doesn't matter, what you want doesn't matter, none of them matters, because you are entering someone's personal space, you're entering their inbox, you were not invited. They didn't tell you to come over. So the only way if this is okay is if, like take this for example. You knock on someone's front door, and here are 3 ways you do it. You knock on their door, you ask for $100, and you say, I want your money and I want your attention. Or you say, I'm going to give you $100 if you give me 10 minutes of your attention. Or I knock on your door and I give you $100 and I walk away, no strings attached. Which one of those how is that going to go? If you ask for someone's attention and money, the only way to really pull this off is the deep personalization, lots of prospecting, perfect targeting, like perfect offer to audience, and like you hit their exact pain point with the exact solution at the right time. Everything needs to be perfect. It's tough to pull off. If you're offering someone, when I say money, I don't actually mean money. I just mean something that they value. Okay. Everyone values money, but there's other things that your prospect may value as well. So if you're providing someone value and you just ask for a little bit of their attention, a little bit of their time, this requires much less personalization. You don't need to directly target like the specific right person. It'd be ideal if you did, but if you wanted to cut some corners, maybe email some general inboxes, it would be okay because you're offering something that they value. This is what gets that response rate to 10%, 15%, 20%. You just need to understand your market a bit. I mean, it's your market too, so you need to understand what your prospects like, what they'd respond to. But you are asking for something in return. In this case, it's attention. So it's like one of those, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. It could be a little icky, so it could turn people off. You may not get the highest response rate. I think with something like this, you get like a 10%er. And then if you just offer something freely, something they value for absolutely nothing, this is where the ultra high 15%, 20% response rates are. This is how you get into someone's inbox and they're happy that you did it. You leave with a feel-good interaction. You've positioned yourself as someone that's valuable. And all you've basically done is you've opened the door for further conversation. And this, to me, is the gold standard. You offer them something of value. There's something that obviously doesn't cost you anything, but it's something that they value. And you do it for nothing. And that's that's your first conversation piece with them. That's your first touch point with them. You've come from nowhere. You've given them something of value. You've asked for nothing in return. And you've followed through on what you said. Now they're in a good mood. They like you. They trust you. And now you're ready for an actual conversation. The thread is already open. All you need to do is continue. So I'm going to give you an example. Like I pulled a niche out of thin air. This is a tool that does AdWords better than AdWords, I guess. This is what they do. So, what do we need to do? We need to come up with a list of prospects. And again, this whole thing I've talked about is automation. Like anything I said here, yes, the strategy is cool and it works. But now the problem comes, how do you do this as efficiently as possible? Because you could easily get bogged down with just doing all this stuff one by one, and it's kind of shitty. Here's the way I do this to automate it without anyone on my team. I just do this, click a few buttons, it happens. I start getting responses, automatically reply to the responses. They automatically do the thing that gets them value on their own. I don't even need to do that. And then they respond, and then I automatically pitch them the real thing, and it's all automatic. So let's show you an example. Here's this AdWords tool. So I go into Ahrefs and I go to the Content Explorer, and I type in AdWords how-to. So I found 1,000 blogs, basically, that have mentioned something about AdWords. Okay. I assume that if it's a website that talks about AdWords, that they're interested in AdWords, and maybe they'd be interested in checking out my better mousetrap of AdWords. So I create this list on my blog. And I put together a list that says the best AdWords blogs. So what I'm going to do is my value, I talked about the money for nothing. In this case, my value to these people, how I'm going to email them, is I'm just going to give them a listing on this blog post that I created about the best AdWords blogs. This works because people like to be recognized. They like to be recognized. They like to be listed in something that's relevant to their blog, to their audience. They may get some leads out of this. So they see this and they might be happy. So I started with that 1,000 list of websites. We have a tool, prospect.linkia.com. You enter a list of websites, you click a few things, it identifies the best contact email for each of the websites. So in this case, this is an AdWords SaaS tool, so we'd be looking for the people that manage AdWords on their website. It's probably the marketer or the founder. So what this tool does is it looks for, all of the most relevant emails as it can, and it picks the best one automatically. Now, usually going through 1,000 URLs is the most time-consuming part of all this, but we've created a tool that automates the whole thing. So the thing that's important here, and what I said is, instead of spraying, we're doing intelligent spraying. So we're not doing one-by-one prospecting. We're not spending much time with prospecting, but we are trying to get the very best contact. So we have Tom at Strategic CDC. We have Jeanette at Angelus. We've got people. We're not just contacting, the breakfast leadership. This is Michael. He's the CEO. And if we couldn't find the right info, well, we're still going to contact them. We just contact their info. So the tool's identifying all this stuff on its own. And we've got a prospect list. Now we need a template. So here's an example of a template. I would reach out and I would say, hey, hi, name. Automatically the tool finds a name. If it doesn't, then our Linkio app will add the word there instead. I'd like to add your domain to this best AdWords list. Do you think that's the appropriate category? Hook them with the question. Why are you doing this? You regularly publish these types of lists. Okay, for who? Digital marketing audience. Why are you reaching out? You think their blog is a good fit. Let me know what you think. This is simple. You're not asking for anything. You're just asking for a value, but they have to respond in order to get that value. Okay, give them an easy way to opt out. You can all do this with, so far what I've shown you, you can do this with the Linkio suite. You can create this list with my Roundup Whiz plugin. And the reason why you want to use Roundup Whiz and not just use, the regular Gutenberg editor is once you start sending these emails, you're going to start getting responses. So this particular campaign started getting 18% response rate. I've sent 360 emails so far, 66 responded. I don't want to sit here and, go through adding 66 websites to this list. That's not the most efficient use of my time. So when they do respond, I've set up an automatic campaign inside Linkio, and I push the contact onto that campaign, and it says, awesome, here's the submission link to get added to the list. Just need a short description. Let me know when you've submitted, and I can approve. So they're doing the work of adding themselves to the list. And you could make this any list. You could make it an expert quote roundup. You can make it a list of websites. You can make it a list of favorite tactics. You could, whatever, a list is highly, highly flexible. That's the beauty of this whole thing. And then once they fill out the list, and what I like to do is with each campaign, I have a couple follow-ups, and that really increases the response rates through each of these. So after they respond, I put them onto another campaign inside Linkio, and it says, great, I've approved your website. You can move up the list with this link, and they get the list. They get the link directly to whatever they published, and then I introduce my actual, like, the thing that would also drive me value. In this case, this is like an AdWords thing. So, also we've got this. We've got this AdWords thing, and here's the common pain points of AdWords. Here's how we solve it. Is this something that would be interesting to you? That kind of transition from cold email, getting a 20% response rate, delivering them value, minimizing the work required, and then introducing your pitch. This is what I've been using to drive a lot of success with some of my outreach campaigns without a giant team, without lots of work. And we're getting good success rates and responses on each of the campaigns. So that is what I wanted to show you. You can check out the prospector at prospect.linkio.com. You can use the email outreach tool at the main app of linkio.com. And if you like that listicle plugin, you can check out roundupwiz.com. These three combined are really all you need to pull off this kind of 20% response rate. Roundup Whiz is cheap. It's like $30. The Prospector, there's no monthly fees associated with it. You just buy credits for whatever actions you're going to do. Linkio, it costs as little as $20 a month for an inbox to start sending emails with. So yeah, very cost effective, very flexible. Check it out. If you have any questions, I'm here.